Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yen Characharam Tatpadam Darshidam Yen Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshuruminitam Yen Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This is the salutations to the Guru, to my teacher, not me, without who I could have done nothing. It's the hand placed on the head of a young boy that changed the mind and made me work on a different path, not the weather-beaten track. Can you hear me at the last? Okay. Let me tell you that it's very interesting. I looked at the synagogue, at the hall, and I wondered whether we should start with Namaste or Hallelujah. Praise be to the Lord. That we are standing in a place where there is the Anahata Chakra symbol there, you can see, with two stars together. And the flame, which is the flame of our dhuni, of the Nath Sampradaya burning. And behind that, of course, it's locked, is the Holy of Holies. Scrolls are all kept there, according to the Jewish system of thought. So, many of the people here are familiar faces. We have met before. Some have, of course, some haven't. That's okay, it doesn't matter. If this is the first time you're meeting me, it's even better, because you don't have any preconceived ideas about who is this guy. So, that's a good thing. So I'm going to start with a question. We will also have a little bit of question-answer session after this. The question is, this is an ancient question. It's been asked for hundreds of years ago in the forest academies of the country I come from, and it's still being asked. What is this question? The question is, what are we seeking? What are we looking for? There must be something we are looking for. We work day and night from morning till evening, using all our energies. There must be something we are looking for, even if you are not on the spiritual track. Well, in the spiritual field also this question is, what is this that one is seeking? Some are seeking in the city, and some are seeking in the Himalayas or in the forest. What is it that you seek? Or let's put it this way, what is it that every human being seeks? Very simple. Sir, we all seek happiness. We all seek peace. We all seek well-being. Happiness is the aim that keeps us going. Even if the grind is a little unbearable, we keep working because we need to find something at the end of the tunnel. We see, oh, perhaps there is a glimmer of happiness there, hope. This is what we are all searching for. When the yogi discards the ordinary things of life and goes off to the Himalayas, I'm not advocating that we should all go, I did. What is he seeking? There also the yogi is seeking happiness. He is not satisfied with the little trinkets of daily existence. He is seeking something more permanent, perhaps. At least he is speculating on that. That's what we all seek. And then let us look at life. We find various ways to find happiness, which is okay. But I'm just looking at the realities. We think that we are, let's take a concrete example. I have a little bit of knowledge about, let's say, Vedanta. Then I think if I learn more, then I will reach the essence. And I keep learning and learning and learning. After some time, the burden of scholarship covers the truth and I don't see it. I'm again back to square one, trying to, maybe there is some other way. Okay, another concrete example. I have a car today, a small car. And I say to myself, not enough. I need to buy a bigger car. Look at my neighbor, he has a Rolls Royce. If you're living in that kind of neighborhood, I don't think small cars can live in such neighborhoods. But then you look and you say, oh, this guy has something bigger. So then what happens? I work very hard. I beg, borrow, I'm not using the word steal deliberately. I beg, borrow, I go to banks, I come in and out, and finally it's sanctioned. And I get my Rolls Royce in my garage. I needed to rebuild the garage first. And then I think I have reached the essence of happiness, the height, zenith of happiness. But you know that, how long it lasts. How long does it last? Not the car. The happiness, the car may last longer. Happiness. And even if the car lasts for 100 years, which is a rare thing, what about me? I don't. I'm gone. I'm not trying to paint a bleak picture of just realities. Gone. Okay. I'm very young, I'm single, I think I'm okay. Then it occurs to me, perhaps I will be happy if I have one more person with me. So let me get married. Because I think that is the whole solution to my happiness. And then I get married. And then, I don't know, there are married people here. I'm married too. Are you recording this? Don't send it to don't send it to my wife. Anyway, so well, she's a good girl, okay, since she's recording. So I think I have, but I don't know, I'm not so sure. So I think maybe a girlfriend would be better. And then you know what happens. So this is life. Well, we have our little joys and little sorrows, I can understand. We live the life. Now, the yogis and the rishis, looking into these matters, said that you seek happiness, we have no problem. Everybody does. It's built into the system to seek lasting happiness. It's part of our nature, of our subconscious mind to seek it. Whether we find it, that's a different matter. But we do. The rishis and the yogis said that this built-in desire for happiness is actually the desire for the ultimate truth which we mistakenly think can be attained in the outside world, which we think we can increase through possessions, but we know that it doesn't work. And even if we have all the possessions with us, well, I also have shirts, pants, everything. We have to say goodbye at some point. And then we think maybe after that we would be at peace. So there is this little thing written, R.I.P., rest in peace. It's a very important fact to note that people write R.I.P. only when you're dead. Not when you're alive. You can't rest in peace. It's not possible. My master used to say it could also mean R.I.P., rise if possible. No way out. So, now, you know the holy city of Benares, this beautiful city? Well, now it's become more beautiful, been cleaned up quite a bit, I must say that. There's a difference. In 2 years, a lot of things have been cleaned up. So in this wonderful city of Benares, There lived a weaver saint called Kabir Das. Kabir Das. He was a hand loom weaver. Every day he sat at his loom and weaved cloth. He lived by the sweat of his brow, not by fooling people. And he said something very interesting regarding this question which we are looking at. He said, in the upper Himalayas, both beyond Uttarkashi and so on, there's a kind of deer, D-E-E-R, deer, D-E-E-R, which is called the musk deer. In India we call it the Kasturi Mriga, musk deer. In a certain season, there's a little pouch under its belly where musk is produced, kasturi is produced. And when the fragrance is in the air, it's a beautiful fragrance in the air, the poor deer, now I mean D-E-A-R, the poor deer, trying hard to find the source of the fragrance, not knowing that the source is under its belly button, goes looking for the source all over the forest, putting its snout into thorny bushes and bleeding, but not knowing that it's under its belly button, the source. So the ancient rishis said, and Kabir said, the human being is like this. The kasturi, the source of your fragrance called happiness, is inside you, and we are searching for it outside. You'll see this. There are some people who have everything that one would think contributes to happiness. But from the morning you look, they're frowning. There is no happiness. There are some others who have nothing at all, who run a little tea shop on the way. Sometimes you find that he's supremely happy. What the ancient rishis said, and Kabir said, and all the yogis said, is the happiness that you seek, there is no problem here. Everybody seeks happiness, it is built in, you don't have to shut that down, you can't. But the direction in which you seek can be reversed, can be changed. And when you turn in Vedanta, that is called the Nivritti Marga, as opposed to the Pravritti Marga. Well, you need to also have some Pravritti. You can't sustain an ashram without Pravritti, for instance. But the ultimate aim is Nivritti, to go within, retrace your steps. One Upanishad has even said, it's like the spider that puts out its web and then takes it back again. So, inside us, in the spiritual heart, rests that which we are seeking, if only we could turn around and look. Even what you worship outside is a projection from inside. How is a temple built? First, an image is made. Somebody says, no, we want a temple of Krishna, or we want a temple of Rama. And while the image is being made, what happens? The sculptor, what does he do? He sits on the stone. One leg might be on the place where the face is going to come in future, because there's nothing there at the moment. And then he hits with his chisel and hammer, works very hard, and then a figure emerges. He has actually not put the figure in there. He has cut out all that is unnecessary so that the image is revealed. The sculpture doesn't add anything there. He chips off. And when he chips off with an idea of what he's looking for, then the image emerges from there. Still it's not ready. it's installed, and there is a ritual called the prana pradishta. What is the prana pradishta? Till the prana pradishta, the temple, you can't worship. I mean, you can, but it's not done. The image is not alive. When prana pradishta is done, from that day, from that second, it is alive. And what is the process of prana pradishta? Sometimes I wonder if the guy who does it has any prana to give. Anyway, so prana pradishta is to invoke the god or goddess in your heart, again turning in. And after invoking and seeing the god or goddess fully in your heart, to do the avahana or to take. Avahana is to bring it in and then to transfer it to the heart of the deity, and from that time the deity is God, is worshipped. So what is the central point here? In the heart. And why a temple is built? To make people better. Because without a good human being, there is no use of any kind of religious practice. And unless one goes to the heart of the matter, good expression somebody used long ago, one is not going to find the happiness that one seeks. Well, if you have found it, you can also live in this world happily. You can carry on with your work, as long as your work is not murdering 10 people every day. This is not allowed. But if you have found that essence in you, you live in the world, you do all your activities, but you know that when you're quiet and in solitude, your mind is absorbed in the inner. And in that inner is the entire essence of the world. That's another thing. Which is why Vedanta, the Upanishads declared, Tat Tvamasi, you are that. Which means you not in your limited form, but when all your limitations are removed, there is no difference. The divinity rests in us. Now you would think that, well, it may be the teachings of the ancient Hindu scriptures, but what about others? I'm going to tell you something interesting. There was a great yogi who 2000 years ago walked the streets of Jerusalem. I think he's a yogi. I don't know what you think. In India, we would call such a person a parivrajak. One who keeps moving, not in one place. And who himself says that he's homeless. The snakes have holes and the foxes have dens, but the Son of Man knows not where to lay his head. Today, homeless is a bad word. But in the Gita, a parivrajaka is called aniketa, one who doesn't have a home, which means every place is home. That's what it means. There's no separate home. And what does he say? Why do I say he was also a yogi? And that comes from different traditions. Because he said, therefore lay treasures in your heart where thieves do not break in and steal. Now this treasure is the essence of divinity that dwells in every human being in the form of the atma, the jiva, which is a spark of the big fire called the divine. And it is seeking this that human being journeys forth. It takes a little bit of searching and disappointments generally to turn the mind inward. Not always. Some people discover that quite early in life because they probably remember the disappointments in their past, perhaps. But everybody finally needs to move in and find out the inner reality. Now, when you touch this inner reality, people ask, then what about the world? How can you live in this world? When you find what is inside, you also find that it is also outside. But first you have to find it inside and then look for it outside. If, for instance, I say that in the depths of my being, in the core of my being, there is this supreme reality, at least a spark, let's say, which I call Sat-chit-ananda. I'm going to explain that word soon. Sat-chit-ananda. If I say that, if I really know it and discover it, very soon I also see it in other people's hearts, even if they don't know it. Whether you know it or not, I know it. And therefore, it's embarrassing when people do pranams, because you want to do pranams to the other guy. Why? Because in every heart there is this diamond shining forth. You may not see it, it may be covered with different layers of pettiness and so on, but once you change, move, wash, that remains is the same as that which is inside. There is no difference. Now I used the word Sat-chit-ananda to define this. Well, it cannot be defined. It's like trying to define the undefinable. In the Jewish ancient teachings, there is a word of the unutterable. That name which cannot be uttered. In the same way, the Brahman or the Supreme Being, the Kena Upanishad says, cannot be defined by the puny little mind with its pettiness and narrow cycles. Upanishad says, Yan manasana manyute, enahur mano matam, that which even the ordinary mind cannot conceive, but because of which the mind has got the capacity to think or be aware. So this pure awareness that we seek, the ancients called it Sat-chit-ananda. Why Sat-chit-ananda? The word Sat-chit-ananda is split into 3 syllables. The first syllable is Sat. The second syllable is Chit. And the third syllable is Ananda. Ananda we all know, in some form of Ananda. Enjoy ice cream is also some kind of Ananda, but that is small Ananda. Sat and Chit we need to look at carefully. Now Sat here means the reality, the truth. Now one would normally say, well, this is the truth, this is the reality. I'm standing here in the hall, there are people sitting there, this is the reality. The Upanishads beg to differ. They, according to the Upanishads and according to those who have gone into it, Sat cannot be something which is here today and gone tomorrow. If it is the reality, if it is Sat, it has to be there forever. It cannot change. It is remaining forever. It's permanent. But everything that we see is temporary. So, if there is something that is permanent, which time cannot eat up, which is there since ancient times and is going to remain, whether we are dead or gone or remaining alive, that is the reality, the Sat. Also, if you think that what you see before us is the only reality, we are thoroughly mistaken. Because we have a very limited understanding of the world, not enough to conclude that this is the reality. Why? Because the only contact we have with the world is through our 5 sense organs, instruments of perception. And how reliable are these instruments of perception? When I say, look, I have formed my own rational blueprint of reality, what I'm saying is that based on the impressions I receive through my 5 sense, or the 5 sense organs, sight, hearing, smell, touch and taste. These are the only 5 instruments of perception that we have at the moment. Maybe there are others. It's the sadhana or the yogic path that tells you how to open if there are others. But right now we have only this. And all our inputs, all the observations, all our experiences are based on the data provided by these senses. Based on that, we form what we call a rational blueprint of this world. We really don't know what the world is. We only know that blueprint, which is formed from the data that comes through the five senses, which are quite limited. For example, there's a common saying, seeing is believing. It really is seeing, believing. Every morning we see the sunrise. Every evening we see the sunset. Does the sun rise or set, or is it that we see it that way? High school kid would tell you that the sun neither rises nor sets. It's the world that moves. What do we see? We see the sunrise or we see the sunset. This is one instrument of perception. Okay, I'll give another example. I see my good friends sitting here in a particular form and shape. Well, now there are advanced techniques by which you can transform a little bit of your shapes. But generally, yes, I see you. Now, how do I see you? Based on my eyes. Because of my eyes. Now, why do I see you in this form? Same form you came to Dallas, same form you're sitting here. Why do I see the same form? Because from birth, the structure of my eye has been of a particular nature. There's a convex lens here and a convex lens here. And the shape that I see is because it is refracted through the convex lens. What if I had a different kind of lens from birth? How would I see you? I might see Sarjarao as Pratibha and Pratibha as Sarjarao. I don't know, but if my lens from birth had been different, how would I see you? Would I see you at the same shape? Imagine, the other day somebody sent me a video of how the world appears to a housefly, simple housefly, which has a compound eye. It has compound eyes, completely different. What we think is straight is a round for it. What we think is flat is going up. What if I was born with that kind of lens? I would have believed that it is so. Because all of us have the same instruments of perception, we think, this is the correct shape. What if there are creatures outside this earth who have different ways of looking, different instruments? They may see us different. They may see us as elephants or worms, who knows? So can we depend on these, the data which is imperfect and very often even illusory, provided to us by our instruments of perception? The question is no, can't be sure. So therefore, when we say this is real, what we mean is, from my understanding, it is real. We really don't know if it is real or it is not real. We don't know. We don't know if it is, this is the shape or that is the shape. So if I don't know even the shape or the form of anything, what do I know really? I don't know anything. And I think that what I know is the truth. When you say Sat-chit-ananda, the Vedanta said, the Sat or the reality is seeing things as they are and not as they are projected to us through our senses. And when it is seen as it is, you find that there is no difference between you and me. Not externally, in essence, the reality. Then the word chit, that this reality is not a padartha, it's not a material, senseless object, but consciousness, of the nature of consciousness. A true essence. And the last word, ananda, is happiness, which actually is a quality of this supreme reality, Sat-chit-ananda. Searching for it, we spend all our lives looking for it outside, which can be found when you turn inside. So, the search for happiness is the search for the reality, which is Sat-chit-ananda. And the good news is that it is in you as well as in me. There is an ancient mantra with which the Ishavasya Upanishad begins. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamahataya Purnameva Avasishyate. Sweeping statement, which means Purnamada, the origin of this universe, from where this whole world has come, is actually completeness, fullness, full satisfaction, absolute. Purna. But then we say, but if that is so, why do we not see the Purna? We see only that which is not Purna, which is incomplete. I think I am incomplete. True, I am incomplete. So where has that Purna gone from which I originated? Why do I feel inadequate, unfulfilled, inadequate? Now the good news which the Upanishad gives us is Purnam Idam. This is also Purna. You don't know it. When you know it, then you find this Purnata or completeness, fullness, total satisfaction is also in you. It's not only the origin, but it is also you. And this completeness has come and originated from that, and that remains the same. Purnameva vasishyate, that remains same completeness. Which means, in life, when we feel that to be happy, we have to complete ourselves, to become complete, to add on. We see many gaps, we want to fill it. It's actually the mind trying to find out the origin, which is Purna by itself. So the Upanishad, the Rishis said, turn in and find that completeness in yourself. Now, if you touch that completeness, is it possible to function in this world? Yes. Well, you need short periods of solitude, perhaps, to contemplate on it. I agree with that. You can't sit there forever. You need to come out and live in this world. And believe me, if you touch the essence of your being, you can lead a better life. Of course, your ways of living might change a little bit. Not little bit, maybe major changes. But you can still live in this world. And because your mind is expanded, and your mind is no longer finite, it also gets more energy and capacity to think, expand, and do good to the world. If you don't want it for yourself. You have found your goodness. You need to share it with others. Now, if you think that I have found it, suppose, you don't have to. You know, from day and night, for months together in a year, I keep traveling. For what? Do I gain anything? I can sit quietly in Madanapalli. And everybody who knows me says, you're doing quite efficiently. It's not deliberate. This efficiency and understanding and intelligence come because you touch the essence of intelligence inside you. And therefore I think every one of us can do that. It takes time sometimes, the levels may be different, but it's possible to do so. And my aim in life today is to, Babaji's directions, to produce as many gene-clad yogis as possible. Men or women, it's the same thing for us. But mind you, if you're sitting down to meditate, jeans is not the most comfortable thing to wear, might be a little tight. It's a metaphor. Yeah? It's a metaphor. So, which means, to live in this world and still be not part of this and rejoice in your inner being. The whole practice of sadhana, Yoga Sutras of Patanjali have an entire chapter called Sadhana Pada, practice. And what is the aim according to Patanjali? Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the elimination of all the disturbances, distractions and tensions of the mind. When this happens, then the mind becomes clear like a mirror, becomes like a pond without ripples. When the mind reaches that state, then it begins to reflect the divine. So all other things we do is to come there, to get there. And when the divine is reflected, then you begin to really start enjoying life. We think we are enjoying life. The real enjoyment starts when we go in and see that there are layers upon layers of bliss inside us which can be uncovered, and the starting point is to remove all distractions of the mind. Japa, yoga, pranayama, meditation, worship, everything is key to this. That in the ultimate essence, your mind is free of distractions and tranquil. Essential. That is the tarmac from which the plane of your mind can take off to the higher levels. So, it's not meant only for me, it's meant for you, it's meant for everybody. And I go around like a mad guy walking around talking about this. I don't know how much registers, how much doesn't matter. It's good to share. You get sweets for Deepavali, you want to share with everybody. Be careful about eating too much, you might catch diabetes, but So, that's what I wanted to tell you. I rest my case now. Now, if anybody wants to ask any questions related to this, please ask me. No politics, but. Sir. Is there a microphone?
Yeah, we have placed one there.
Okay.
If you would actually go to the microphone.
That will be nice. Don't worry, sir.
Can you try this way first to see whether it is here?
Okay.
What is the qualitative difference in Ananda you're thinking of
Standing.
and the excitement, happiness we have in things that we do every day?
Yes. What is the essence? I'm saying that if somebody hasn't heard. What is the essential difference between the Sat-chit-ananda or the ultimate happiness that you're talking about and the other little joys of life that we experience daily? Is that the question? Well, let me tell you, actually there is no difference except in quality and quantity. The little joys that we experience, what happens when the sense organs come in touch with an object and when we enjoy it, the enjoyment is not in the object but in ourselves. So, what is happening in day-to-day enjoyment, which is why we are so stuck to it, is because it opens up a channel for the inner happiness to flow out. What we are talking about is to see, experience it in total, in its essence, from the fountainhead. What we experience is also the same thing in small doses and qualities. When you see that, it's a proof that there is something existing in us which is capable of bliss and enjoyment. And when you turn in and see, you see that the essence is here and not there. It's the same thing in some form, in a smaller form.
Follow-up question. How do you know that?
Know what? Only through experiencing it, sir.
We always attribute to the external object. is that called Maya? That's why we can't
A word they use is Maya. But I am not so very happy with that word, because what we see in daily life cannot be total Maya. It has to have some reality, relative reality. It's better than to say it's a total illusion. Yes. I wanted to say something, and I was going to say, then you had a follow-up. Doesn't matter. That's okay. Oh, yes, sir.
Hi, Pranam. Wanted to understand something that I sometimes experience, like when sitting in meditation, there's often I see that there's something that arises about like 4 or 5 inches here, right? But in kind of forms of spear, or it feels like it, but I'm not able to hold it long. But when I sit like that, it happens. So I kind of want to understand what is that happening, and then secondly, sometimes when I'm talking about spiritual matters with friends, and there's a lot of bhav and bhakti, and I notice that something sort of, it feels like it descends down almost at that same point, but rather than rising, it's coming, it feels like it's descending, and it's like a nice column of bliss like on top of your head. And in that moment, like even people around start feeling it sometimes. Like what is all that happening? Just want to, if you can elaborate.
Are you feeling it now?
Yeah.
So, this is the beginning of the understanding that the bliss that you seek outside is also inside you. There is an energy in us, which is the spiritual energy, which is usually in most people in general fast asleep. The yogi tries to awaken this energy. And in some cases, it can even happen spontaneously. Spontaneous meaning, in this life you haven't done anything much about it. Maybe sometime in your past you've done certain things, that at this young age you are feeling something automatically. Now, if you're really feeling it, then the main important thing to do is to fix attention on this feeling, not get agitated about it. Fix attention on this feeling and remain absorbed in what you feel. You can start with that and carry on. It would help if you chant Om for a while.
Why does your body spin sometimes? Also, like, what is the, sometimes you, like I'll notice when meditating, like the body starts swaying in a circular motion. Why is that?
That is because your nerves, the energy channels are still not accustomed to the tremendous energy that is inside. Once they get accustomed, then that swinging will stop. Instead of swinging, there will be a swirling inside. Now, all this I said, but make sure, not you, make sure that it doesn't happen only when you imbibe substances. If it happens by itself, then it's a great thing. If it happens because of that, well, in Yoga Tantras that's also, it's a dangerous way. You need to be very careful, because Patanjali also says, retaining samadhi, one of the ways, aushadhanani, also through substances. But then that needs a great deal of attention and a teacher who knows how to take you out of that and not get stuck there. Best thing is to go sober. I'm not saying you are blaming you, I'm just saying. And then if you still feel that way, then continue to make it more permanent, which is giving complete attention to it and allowing it to settle down in yourself. And I'm glad it's happening to you. What's your name?
Brugan.
Namaste.
Hey, there are two people here. Okay, sorry.
Namaste. As you said, like the Purnam, that saying, I'm trying to practice the perfection within myself and seeing the perfection in other person. But living in this real world,
Other person doesn't recognize it.
in myself also, I'm critical about myself. Like, I want to think that I'm perfect, but when I'm not able to get up in the morning to do meditation, or when I slip on my diet, or when my husband doesn't do a dishwasher thing, or my kid doesn't do a homework.
Here?
Oh, he is right next to me. So there's a critical voice that comes up and says, oh, I know he's perfect, but I know he's that embodiment of all that thing. But still, I'm having these expectations that's not getting fulfilled, and I'm getting all agitated. I try to silence it. Sometimes pushing it down doesn't help because it bursts later. Sometimes addressing it helps, but at the end, I don't want to hurt the other person's feeling also. So I don't know how to deal with this. I want to feel that perfection in the other person, but that voice, what do I...
Shall I say something? Forget about the other person's perfection now. Try to find the perfection in yourself. When you are fully perfect, then you will see if the other person is also perfect or not. Could be we are misjudging, we don't know. Possible. Or the person may not be, and perfection is quite a relative word. Some people think we are perfect, somebody else thinks they are perfect because they are following a certain procedure. So it's a very relative word. So my suggestion is, if you have a blueprint of what you call perfection in yourself, follow that complete attention till you get rid of your inadequacies. When you do that, then you can deal with people outside. Otherwise it's not possible. And also it's hard work. It's not like a song, it's hard work. I worked hard, I'm telling you. I'm standing here and now talking all this, but I worked very hard. There was a time when I said to myself, even when people ask me, can you say something about this or that, I used to say, no, I can't. Because I have not seen it completely to be able to tell you what. It took many years of hard work to come there, right? So I suggest, you're following a perfect thing, follow it and work on it.
Thank
For the
you.
time being, forget the other person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar, Shriyam. First of all, thank you for everything you do. And my question is, you've spoken in many speeches about the Gayatri Mantra. And I just wanted to know how to use that as a tool with the Kriya and the meditation and how that can be implemented.
First, let's start with the last part of the question. If you are going to chant the Gayatri, I would suggest, and if you're also practicing some kind of an internal yogic practice like Kriya, so I think first you should start with the Gayatri. I'll come to the Gayatri next. You start with the Gayatri sequence. Start with the Gayatri. If you have enough time, do Sandhya Vandana. And nowadays people don't have time. At least chant the Gayatri with your hand and your heart. Think of the wonderful effulgence of the Supreme Reality in your heart. Put your hand there and chant the Gayatri. And then start all other practices. This is one thing. Now regarding the Gayatri, we need to have another satsang, but the Gayatri Mantra is so important in the Vedas, in the Vedic teachings, that the meter in which the Gayatri is chanted, it's been named the Gayatri meter. There is a way of chanting the Gayatri. It's so important. In the Rig Veda probably is the most important mantra, the Gayatri. So when people sometimes come to me and ask me, can you give me a mantra to chant? Sometimes I ask, what's your name? Krishna Vajpayee or Narayana Iyer. So I ask him, you're asking me for a mantra, right? What about the mantra that was given to you when you were young? Were you not chanting it? Oh, that. I said, go back to the Gayatri. No, but we have forgotten it. I said, this is funny. I have to tell you. Okay, here you go. So, not you. So the Gayatri Mantra, first the meaning, it starts with Om. Now actually if you go into this entire thing, it will take us another hour or two. But let me make it as concise as possible. We're talking about something extraordinary. The very sound Om, which with Gayatri begins, is a symbol of the Supreme Being about which we were discussing. Why is it the symbol of Supreme Being? Because it represents the beginning, the continuing and the ending of everything. Of not only the world and the universe, but also our thought process. The beginning, the continuing and the ending of ordinary thought. This is Om. So, A is the beginning, U is the continuer, is the end. So people say Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, which means creation, preservation. People say creation, preservation, they are only thinking of the earth as a material thing. No, it's also the inner, the mind, the thought, everything which comes, continues and disappears is Om, says the Upanishad. Om is also the symbol of the states of consciousness that we go through. A is for the waking state of consciousness. I hope we are all awake. It gets too boring. And U is the dream state, both night dream and daydream. And Om is deep sleep, because you close your mouth and to utter a new word you have to open it again. So it's finished for the time being. So it's the end. So it's the deep sleep state called Shushupti, which is also the common experience of all human beings. And what lies beyond is the sound of Om, like the ringing of a bell, Om, which you can't hear physically, but which is there. This is Turiya, or the essence from which all these three states come, the Supreme Reality. This is Om. Having said that, the mantra, Om, therefore it's called the Pranava, because it gives energy to every mantra, it's added on. Then you have Bhur Bhuvaswa, Bhuloka, this world, Bhuvaloka, the next, and Swargaloka, the next. It also means, from the psychological point of view, Bhu, the waking state in which we are, Bhuva, the dream state in which we are, and Swa, Swarga, deep sleep. There's no better Swarga for a normal human being than deep sleep. And in deep sleep we are all equal. The scientist and the non-scientist, we are all sleeping in the same place, we are all equal. And it's so rejuvenating and so blissful that you don't want to wake up from it. But that's not the aim of life, okay? So, Om Bhur Bhuva Swa means the mantra I am going to chant is to affect all my states of consciousness. Tat Savittar Varenyam, that, Tat is that. Tat, just had to add H, it becomes that. Tat Savittar Varenyam, that controller of this whole universe, the Supreme Reality, Savittar, Varenyam, I worship. Tat Savittar Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo is effulgence. That effulgent being, Bhargo. Devasya, that divinity. Dhimahi, I meditate upon. Dhimahi, the word dhi is the root of dhyana, meditate. I meditate upon. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. May my intelligence and understanding be stimulated. This is the mantra. So, when you wake up, have a wash, sit down quietly and chant the Gayatri in your heart, thinking of the effulgent deity inside. You can chant as many times as you want. It will do good if you clear your nostrils before you start the chanting, so that your energies are balanced. When we breathe in, hold, breathe out. Hold, breathe in. Hold, breathe out. When they do Sandhya Vandana elaborately, they do this one. Do it for 5 minutes and then chant. And the simple way of chanting is Om Bhuvasva Tat Savitar Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Enough.
Thank you.
Only thing I am object to is to fix the Gayatri as the tune for your car when you reverse it. That's not a good thing. It's a very sacred thing. I went to some place the other day, the guy is reversing, Om Bhu. I said, just a minute.
Namaste, Guru. Namaskaram. Actually, I wanted to ask you this question on your last visit to New Jersey itself.
Then why didn't you ask?
I do not know whether you'll answer it even now. This
Please.
is not related to anything right here.
Then why should we?
No, this is related to your book. Just wanted to understand a little more, maybe if you could explain on your visit to Nagaloka. If you could just explain that a little more in detail than what you actually spoken, or rather in your book, mentioned in your book.
But why don't you read the book?
I have read the book.
Read carefully. And I didn't speak, I was told about the Nagaloka by Babaji, and I just listened to it.
So you never visited Nagaloka?
I have not written it in my autobiography.
No, you have not written it, but in some, you mentioned about it in some, one of the videos I've seen.
Maybe, but let's not take it up, please, for God's sake.
I knew that.
No, I can't even prove it to you, so what is the point?
I'm not asking you to prove it to me, but it was very intriguing, so I just wanted to hear from you.
Look, let me put it this way. Let me put it, since you are so interested, okay. Do you think that in this entire huge universe, there is only one earth with beings of this kind? I mean, does it
I completely believe in
No,
it.
I'm just saying, I'm just asking. So, therefore, there are, and nowadays they are discovering what is that? There's a big telescope now.
Hubble.
Hubble is, every day they're discovering dozens of exoplanets, which have perhaps the same conditions as the Earth. Even if they don't have conditions like the Earth, that doesn't mean that there are no other kind of living beings there. We in our arrogance think that if somebody has to live, they have to breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. What about someone who breathes nitrogen? Can there be a being like that?
100%, yes.
So, considering this, just keep this in mind, suspend your disbelief in, not you, in the many worlds and spheres. There are many worlds, many spheres. We may not have access to that. Why do we don't have access to that? Because they are many light years away. So physically it may not be possible for us to reach there for maybe several centuries, or maybe a century. But the yogi, now this is dangerous, I'm walking on dangerous territory right now. The yogi understands that apart from the physical world, sorry I'm turning that side, all the questions, now my ida is working more than the finger. So, The yogi understands that apart from the physical body, there are well, science is, I like the way science approaches things. They are on proof. Good, no question. They will find it eventually. Why should we die before that? So anyway, so the yogi understands that there are other subtle levels to our human system, and each can be independently separated from the other. Right? From the physical body, you can separate that which is not so physical. I'm not talking about the ultimate supreme or something. I don't want to use that word because it's misused a lot. The other day somebody emailed me, "Sir, can you come in your astral body and hover around my bed?" So, I'm not using. I said, if you assure me that you are fully dressed, I come and hover. So anyway, sorry. So, if there is a subtle body, suppose, which can be separate or move out of the physical, if again, then that has no limitations. Well, it has limitations, but it doesn't have the same limitations as the physical body. So for this, there is no light years. Suppose you are functioning from there. So it's possible then to see some other realms. If you come back and report it, nobody will believe you. And if you're lucky, you'll escape going to the asylum. So that's why I don't discuss too much of. When I was young, I talked about some such thing, and all the elders took me to the psychiatrist. Believe me. And the psychiatrist, whose relative was very well known to me, said to my elders, "Can you go out for a while? I want to talk to him in private, otherwise I can't find out anything." So they said, okay. The door was shut. As soon as the door was shut, the psychiatrist said, "Tell me, how do you get there?" So I came out unscathed. They didn't put electric shock or anything.
Thank you so much.
Sir? What is a Freudian slip? What does that mean? Oh.
Thank you.
This man is very dangerous.
Namaste, Guruji.
What do you, the what from Manila? Peacock, yeah. Yes, sir.
Namaste, Guruji.
Okay.
I have a question. I mean, I'm listening to you. I have many questions, but I'll stay to the question I have. Each one of us, we are living our life. We're going through our challenges. We're facing it bravely or happily, going through our ups and downs. But where are we all going?
That's the problem. Where are we, that's what I'm asking. Where are we going?
Yeah.
So, therefore, I think this whole process of the journey, going through our limitations or whatever, the aim is finally to be free of limitations. The aim is to find the goal where you don't have any imperfections. But we go more and more into complications because we are looking for it in the external world. This is what I'm saying. Turn around and look within. You'll find the answer to this in yourself.
I have a son, and you're talking about 5 senses, and he is visually impaired. And you spoke about compound eye and having all 5 senses. Now my question is, he must be pursuing the world very different.
Absolutely.
So it's not a simple question. It's so complicated, and yet it's simple, I know, and I'm doing
as best as I can. But again, that question comes, what is all this? I mean, he's a beautiful boy. He's doing his best. We are all doing a good job on how we have to be. There is that detachment we going on. But for me, and I see everybody doing their best. But it's like a river, and where does this river go?
We are doing our best only
In our capacity.
Yes, and also only in what we think is ours. When we begin to do our best, not only for ours but also for others, then your little river is moving into the ocean. Till then, it's okay. I mean, I'm not saying anything. It's very easy to stand here on the platform and talk. If I had a child who's visually impaired, it would have been difficult. I'm not denying that. Yes. So what I'm saying is, in some way, you should be happy. It's not easy to be happy in this. That even though this guy is visually impaired, there are other capacities in him which may one day come to fruition. Is he interested in music or something like that?
Right now he loves people. He understands people.
Yeah. So let him be. Look after him. He has been given a treasure. So look after him. There must be some reason why he's like this. Keep looking after him.
He's not my question. My question is, where are we all going?
Yeah, this is a general question you're asking. Where are we going? This is what we were discussing just now. We're all moving towards an understanding that there must be some ultimate satisfaction or happiness somewhere. We don't know where it is. I'm saying turn within, look inside. You will find it is right here. That's what I'm trying to say. The ocean into which these rivers flow, in fact, a beautiful statement in the Upanishads, that all the rivers then finally go into that ocean. Oh, a lot of people lined up for questions.
Pranam Shriyan. I had this question which been bothering me since last few weeks. I have confusion between guru and a god. As a Hindu, we grew up with worshipping many gods. The gods came through, like our parents, like you worship this god, or whatever the parents are worshipping, we continue worshipping those gods. And we grew up, and now at one point when Guru enter in your life, the visualizing the Guru or the knowledge of the Guru, though you haven't happened to meet your Guru, but just visualization of a Guru, his photograph or his knowledge which you've been listening, helping you to transform to some extent. And now at one point I feel like Guru or a God. Guru is everything we say. Guru is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, everything.
Wrong interpretation. The only Guru is Brahma.
Okay,
let me explain. Brahmanandam, Paramasugadam, Kevalam, Jnanamurtim, Dvandvatidam, Gagana Sadarsham, Tattvamasya Laksham, Ekam Nityam, Vimalamachalam, Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam, Bhavatitam, Trigunarahitam. So that is the Sadguru. So, if you have a spiritual teacher, and if you consider that spiritual teacher is going to lead you properly, then the essence of that divine being can be worshipped in him. No question. But still remember that it is a physical body and it will go at some point. And if the person is still alive, after 10 years, if you hear something terrible about his life, then all your faith will collapse. So that's why it is better to fix your attention on the Supreme Being and say, I worship this Guru because he represents the Supreme Being.
Okay, I got it. Okay, Thank you.
Pranam Shriyam. My question involves the chakra dhyana and energy blockages.
Say that again? I didn't hear you.
My question involves energy blockages when you're meditating in chakra dhyana. I've often found in my anahata I get a little stuck, and I'm wondering if there's anything that can help that.
So, you're saying that you are practicing.
Yes.
And you find sometimes that the energy is
Stuck.
is not going beyond,
Yes.
stuck here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to do it here now. But my suggestion, I have a little suggestion for you, which is, if it is here and if it is here in the center, just don't try to push, let it be. Allow it to be. Let it grow and from the same center into larger realities. And when the time comes and when your nadis are purified enough, it will find its way up. Don't try to meddle with it. Isn't it wonderful to have it here? Isn't it nice to have it here?
Yes.
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 So let it be. And see, after some time it will take its own course. Don't force anything. I'm not going to give any technique on it. Not required. Okay?
Namaskar Babaji. I have a question.
What is the time when we are supposed to wind up?
6 o'clock.
Okay.
Like you left your home around 19 of your
Yes.
age, so your mother would have sobbed very hardly. So what happened to her karma to be like she rode for you like almost 3.5 years?
Very true. You touch a very sensitive spot. Well, it's a fact that my mother suffered a lot, which is why when people read my autobiography or listen to me, young people, I tell them, don't run away from home. Of course she suffered. But I thought, it's one mother suffering, but there are so many other people who are suffering. But I also felt many times that I was doing her a great injustice by running away, because for her, that's not the vision, her son. She has no other thought. But after 3.5 years of staying with Babaji, with Maheshwarnath Babaji, he told me to go back, precisely because he said, you may be becoming a yogi, but your mother is not. She is grieving. So go back now. And what you have to do, you can do there. So I was sent back because of that. Not that I didn't have the feeling, but I thought I was doing something better and expanding my consciousness and so on. But I had to come back. Not only that, when I was with Babaji, I am the only son in my family, and in India you know how it is, and the eldest. It is this. When I was with Babaji, I had copious hair, long hair, and he used to tie it up here and keep it. This is nothing. And I was wearing the insignia of the Nath Sampradaya, 2 rings. And my clothes were like just a white cloth. And so not only did Babaji ask me to go back, he made arrangements so that when I reached Delhi, somebody would provide me with decent clothes. First he got the barber to cut off my hair and make it like yours. And then he said, take off your kandalis and put it in the Ganga. So when I went back, I went back like normal. He said, if you walk in like this, as you are now, she'll probably die of a heart attack. So I went just like a normal son of hers back. And in fact, I'm writing a short story characters are different, but so it's true.
Doesn't it become an obstacle for your spiritual growth in the starting period?
No, one good thing about my mother is she never thought ill of me, that because he ran away he should, no. She said, if he is happy, I am happy.
Okay.
That is a special mother.
Thank you for your answer.
Like, here's a special mother. Yes, sir.
Baba, I want to be one of your gene-clad yogis. I want to be one of your gene-clad yogis. I want to serve creation. I want to marry and have a wife I love.
You're already gene-clad, you need to only become a yogi.
Will you help me? Will you
Yes,
accept
sir,
me?
of course. That's my job. That's my work. Why do you think I'm wandering around all this? Today, my hosts were saying, why are you traveling so much? Sightseeing is over long ago. Why am I traveling? So don't worry about it. We'll work it out. You have said this to me, so I'll hold your hand. Keep in touch. What's your name?
Heath, I messaged you. I'm from Tennessee. I messaged you.
Okay, got it. No, messages are different. When you actually see a person, then it's a different thing. And when I see a lot of messages coming from one person, I know this person is going to come to me at some point. So I keep quiet sometimes, trying to build this field in which you can actually meet me and become one of the peacocks. You know what this is? Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
You have heard of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa?
Yes.
The guru of Swami Vivekananda. He had a householder disciple called Mahendranath Gupta, who wrote the Gospel of Ramakrishna. He also wrote as M. So that's one M. There's another M. There are several people trying to prove that this is the same M, and I keep saying no. So, when Mahendranath Gupta was he was a professor in a college, in a school, and he didn't believe in all this. He thought all these spiritual things is nonsense. I mean, like, but he was, in those days all young people were Brahma Samajas. So he was also part of the Brahma Samaj, including Swami Vivekananda. So one day he had some trouble which all of us have, married people. He had a big fight with his wife, or his wife fought with him, or he fought, I don't know, but there was trouble. So he got disgusted. So one of his friends told him that there's a beautiful garden near Dakshineshwar. You can go there and you'll find some peace, there's a river flowing there, and you might even see the Paramahamsa who lives there. He said, I'm not interested in the Paramahamsa, but it's a beautiful place, I'll definitely go. Then he said, what if I see him? I don't want to get caught up in all this nonsense. So he said, go. So the horse, buggy was driving. It so happened when it came near Dakshineshwar, the axle broke. So there was no way to do it. He got off and went into the garden. And then he saw a man coming towards him. He was just sitting on the bench when he saw a man coming. And he was, you see the picture of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, later times with the beard and all that. He used to be very quite clean shaved those days. And he was very fair and shining face. And he saw a man coming with a red bordered Bengali dhoti and polished red leather chappals, jutis. And the lips were red because he just had some pan. This man came to him and said, "Hey, who are you? Where are you going?" He said, "My name is so-and-so." "Sit down, let's talk." So he asked him, I heard there is a Paramahamsa here. Do you know anything about that? He said, "I really don't know. Which Paramahamsa?" "Anyway, let's have a chat." So they had a chat. And various things they talked about, the Supreme Being and this, that. He said, "I believe in God without form." And Ramakrishna said, "That's okay, that's also one way of looking at things." And so I don't want to go into that. And then he left. And when he left, he said to himself, "I'm not going to come back here. What is the use of talking to this guy?" He went. And then on a Sunday, all the few young disciples who used to gather in the small room where he used to live were sitting together and having a chat. Many people used to say, "What is this priest teaching these guys? They're cutting classes and coming here, giving them gulab jamuns to eat and making all jokes. What is happening here?" So that period when everybody was sitting around, Ramakrishna said a story. He said, there was a priest in a temple who used to mix opium in the prasad, in the milk. So one day a peacock came and had a little bit of this opium mixed milk. And then every day at exactly that time, the peacock would come back again because of the opium, the milk. And then he said a cryptic remark. He said, "Well, the peacock is going to come." So he sometimes said things which nobody understood. So they looked up and down, there was no peacock coming, so they just kept quiet. In about 5 minutes, Mahendranath Gupta on a Sunday, he said, "I'll never come back here," but he felt, let me go back and see what's going on. So he came, and as he entered, Ramakrishna said to his disciples, "Peacock has come." So everybody started laughing. He didn't know why they were laughing. So he asked him, afterwards he asked, "Why were you guys laughing?" So he told him the story. So sometimes the peacocks come back. We have we'll give you opium, sir.
Namaste Swamiji. To achieve that ultimate happiness, I believe that love and faith towards God is important. Now, what to do if you have lost that love and faith in yourself, in your Guru, in God? You no longer have those similar feelings toward it. Just to give you a little more context.
Don't use any names.
Yeah. I mean, I used to go to temples. I mean, I loved going to temples, doing japam, dhyanam, listening to bhajans and all that. And now I no longer have that same love or devotion towards it. I still do it. It feels like a formality or a drill.
Are you single?
Yes, I am single.
When did this start? Did you fall in love? No.
I mean, falling in love with, that was with like Guru only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm joking. Because another young man told me I used to be very devotional, and then I got this girl, and that was the end of it. So what to do?
Yeah, I mean, how to get that?
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
At the moment, just let it be. Give it up. Believe me, if you once tasted even a little bit of it,
Yeah.
I'm sure you did at some point.
Yes.
So just give it up and you'll be compelled to go back to it after a while. It will become unbearable. When that happens, you come to me.
Okay.
We'll see what we can do. It's not going to leave you. You already tasted a little bit of opium.
Yeah, that was like divine nectar.
I think it was dilute, but it's okay. You come back to it. Huh?
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I'm sure you'll come back.
Thank you.
You had referred to other lokas like Nagaloka or other dimensions. So my question is, those dimensions, whether they came about at the same time that Earth was forming, or they were formed at a later stage, and also who formed all these dimensions, including this creation?
Madam, I don't know that. I really don't know. When it came or what happened, I'm not infinite. I might have touched the hem of the garment of truth maybe, but I don't know this answer to your question. And if you ask me who created this whole thing, who made gravity, do you need anybody to make gravity? In the same way, all these things are there in existence. Nobody needs to make them, you know. They're a way of evolving. But to the question of what is the origin of all these worlds, I can only say that everything originates from one source, and in the end everything goes back to that. This much I can tell you. And that source is what we mentioned, Purna. Even your question and your desire to know about these things, which is okay, is actually the mind trying to reach complete knowledge. It's not wrong. All scientific discoveries have come because of that. But I don't know the ultimate answer of where it came from. But it is, that we know. And being there, we need to get out of it. This also we know. The Buddha had a beautiful story. Somebody went to a mango grove to eat mangoes. Somebody shot an arrow from the woods. The arrow hit the man in the chest, he fell down. Excruciating pain. So the Buddha's question was, is that the time when you have this excruciating pain and the arrow stuck in you, is this time to speculate who sent the arrow? Where did it come from? What is the origin of the pain is there with the arrow? If you lie there and speculate on the origin of the arrow, you'll probably develop gangrene and die before you find it. Okay. So he said, not you, he said, learn the ways to remove the arrow, which is spiritual practice. Once the arrow is removed, then you have enough capacity perhaps to find out what the source is. Unfortunately, those who have found out the source, they cannot express it to others. They have to find it themselves. If you ask me how is that possible, there was a young child who asked the mother, the parents, hey, you two, do you really love me? He said, of course, yes. Why do you doubt it? Oh, I know, because if you love me so much, why didn't you invite me for your wedding? It's impossible, but the child doesn't know about that. Right? It's like that.
Namaste, Guruji. She is Vedasi. She has a question for you.
Yeah?
Yeah, ask.
What?
Who is God?
What?
Who is God? That's her
You
question.
shouldn't make a little child ask such questions. There's a big drama going on. Yeah? You have to try and answer this question to her. Who is God? I have no answers.
Okay. Thank you.
So she asked it herself or you made her ask?
She asked herself.
Okay. When she grows up, she'll find out. Too young to understand.
Namaste, sir. I have a question about seeking some guidance from you about our behavior towards some...
About?
Our behavior.
Behavior.
Yeah, towards some things in society. For example, people like you, great souls, have a larger understanding about reality than even...
Okay.
I believe so, than even we do, and you're very patient with us as we ask you these questions. So similarly, when there's people or institutions in the world that are very confident about their view of the world, but we question its completeness, how do we exist? How do we alongside that?
I would say that while you try to discover it yourself in your heart, you should also keep asking questions. There's nothing wrong with that.
So,
but
yes,
at some point you will begin to figure out that questions never end. You have an answer to one question, another set of questions comes in. You answer them, another set, I or somebody else may, it comes back again. So these questions will not end until you touch the reality. When you touch the reality, you understand that this is a vicious cycle that goes on and on and on without stop. Because the ultimate cannot be answered in limited terms, and the limited cannot find the ultimate. So when the limited understands its limitations, that these are not intellectual questions that can be answered. Like somebody comes suddenly and says, who is God? So, when the intelligence, when it becomes really mature and intelligent and refined, understands its limitations. When it understands its limitations, it discovers that the way to find this is not through questions, but through going deep within. Till then, you should not discourage the questions, because the questions will go on. People ask me many questions. I don't discourage anybody from asking questions. Sometimes I know that this question is not going to take the person anywhere. I know that. But I encourage, because it makes them think, we are important. But not you. I know you're different a little bit. So it's, it's like that. So what you should understand is, with our limited capacity of the brain that we have, it's not possible to answer all the questions. And when the mind becomes better and touches something, you find some answers, but you cannot give them to somebody else, because the mind is still limited. It cannot grasp what you're saying. This is the last question. You're standing for quite some time.
Thank you.
It's 6 o'clock.
This is a quick question. This question
Say
is
that again. Huh?
this question is for a couple of acquaintances of mine and other people that have had similar experiences. So I'm okay though. So like when I was young, my mom took me to like some Babaji in India. And he put his hand on my head, and after that, I didn't think this was related. I had a headache for 3 days. Like, it was just weird. I didn't think it was related.
No bliss.
And then, yeah, no bliss. It just hurt. I was like, what? I would think I would feel better, so I thought that was odd. So I never mentioned it to anybody. And then years later, when I started a longer meditative practice, then I started getting the same headache. And I looked all online, Google, everywhere, Quora, and everyone has conflicting answers, and went to my yoga teacher. She told me, Radha, just wear a hat. So once I started wearing a hat, it was really silly because I'm in my temple wearing a hat for like a week or so. But I'm okay. I don't need to wear a hat or anything, but I've had 2 other women come to me with the same question, the same experience, and then other people online. So that's why I didn't want to come up. I was kind of shy, but...
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
You tell your friends who have the same problem to wear hats.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I can do that.
Really?
Yeah.
It could
but no
be-
logic, because people just want to know, like, what is going on?
Let me explain, since you said this. I feel that there may be I don't know, but the speculation that 2 reasons why you could have had this headache when somebody died. One is because there was some kind of energy which was trying to go through, and it was not open to it, so there was a resistance, possible. The second is that it could be some form of sinusitis.
Okay.
I mean,
Could be.
there are 2 ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly which, and after a while when you started wearing a hat, you started protecting your head, and therefore the sinusitis went down a little. It is possible. This is also possible. It is also possible that, you know why you see holy men wearing some covering on their heads or putting a cloth on their head? Because they feel that the energy system here needs to be protected. Probably when you wore a hat, it got protected. Yogis who have a lot of matted hair don't need a hat. But, so these are all speculations. I don't know. Since you asked me the question, now I need to stop now, it's 6 o'clock. Now I'm not running away. I want to stop with a little story connected to the hat. Not your. There was this little village kid who was standing in the village and looking out of his garden when he saw the local priest, the parson, going back home from the city on a bicycle, and he had gone to bring a new tube for the tire. Because emergency, if it gets punctured, you need a new tube. So while cycling, he had hung it on his neck, and he was cycling back home. So this little kid said, "Hey, father." I said, "What?" "I think your halo is hanging down your neck." So now that my halo has come down to the neck, I think we should stop for the time being. I'll come back again to New Jersey, don't you worry. And now you should send me an email, my friend, saying, "You said, now keep your promise." Huh? Yeah. Thank you very much. I know many people have many questions. I'm sorry, but you can always ask me, no? You've been asking me all the time. So, thank you. It's a nice evening, delightful evening. People have come from Washington, D.C. How come? So, see you, Sai, not Sai Baba, his name is Sai. So. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.